One more thing. ESPN, Shams Charania reports the Mavericks are exploring trade deals for Anthony Davis. Mark Cuban comes out and says, no, we're not doing that. We want to win now. Who's right? I think they kind of both are, but I don't think Mark Cuban is. We'll talk about that more. Today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm not a doctor, so.
That's it. It's me versus the machine.
It is. I don't know.
Satnam change.
Nice penetrating thrust to the middle.
Hot man, the hot player.
Wait. One more thing.
Fired up.
Yeah, you're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for hanging out with us and being an everydayer. Bonus episode of Locked On Mavs. You missed the episode with me and Slightly breaking down the Mavs loss to the Knicks. Go check out that episode. But right now, I want to talk about the trade rumors around Anthony Davis because you got different factions. One from Mark Cuban saying that they're not going to trade for Anthony Davis. And the other one from ESPN saying they're already exploring deals. So which one is right? And we'll talk about Anthony Davis's value. It's all like a game for Anthony Davis right now. And I don't know which side is going to win this game with Anthony Davis trade value. But ESPN had a report also that some West executives are talking about what Anthony Davis needs to do, what the Mavericks need to do to get Anthony Davis's value up, or what they should do, all kinds of different things. So let's talk about that. Let's start here. There has been reports that the Mavericks are going to explore deals for Anthony Davis. We've been talking about this, for days now. The Mavs are going to explore deals for Anthony Davis. Now that Nico Harrison has been fired and the Mavs have moved on, they move forward. It looks like they're now moving out of this window. And Shams Charania from ESPN, his exact words were, this franchise is moving away from Nico's 2 to 3 year window and trying to find sustained success around Cooper Flagg and youth. Sources say the Mavs will be listening to trade calls for Anthony Davis and exploring his value. Health will be the biggest key, not only for the Mavericks, blah, 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 and all that. So, exploring deals. They're moving away from this 2 to 3 year window. The Mavericks have seen enough. They've seen enough. They've seen what they needed to see, and now they say this is not a win now team. Even if they haven't even seen Kyrie and Anthony Davis together for just one half. They've only seen one half, the Houston half. They've not seen them on the court together for even one game. They've already decided, all right, we're moving on. We're not doing this 2 to 3 year window. We're not going to win now. We're not going to wait to see if this is going to happen. We're deciding to go in all on this now. And Isaac and I laid out why that is a thing that the Mavericks should do and why trading Anthony Davis soon is in the Mavs' best interest. Isaac is very big on the Mavs needing to do it before December 15th, before the end of December, before the end of this year, they have to do it. Because there's so many other factors. You're on a squeeze with Anthony Davis for cap because of his deal. You're on a squeeze with Anthony Davis for his value. And the longer he stays out, the less value he's going to have. You're on a squeeze for a team teams that have already decided, the season is already done for us. So that eliminates teams from talking themselves into, hey, we're Anthony Davis away from maybe competing or taking the next step forward as a franchise. By the time December hits, teams kind of know who they are, right? And so maybe there's a team on the bubble then, but a team on the bubble right now could be already 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 games under 500 by then. And so there's all kinds of things that you got to wonder about when it comes to that. So Shams reports that thing. We've already heard that from Tim McMahon. We've heard that from others. The Mavs are thinking about deals for Anthony Davis. They're already considering trading Anthony Davis. Then this report from The Athletic comes out today where Joe Vardon reached out to Mark Cuban through his email, which you can do, honestly. Mark Cuban's email is out there. He says, are you guys trading Anthony Davis? Are you guys looking to trade Anthony Davis? And he says, we won't. We want to try to win. That's from Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban is not in charge of basketball operations. He is not the majority owner. His say is not the bottom line for this team anymore. That's Patrick Dumont. Mark Cuban has recently, according to reports from Stein, McMahon and others, has now put his name back in as somebody that is giving say, has Patrick Dumont's ear, that is saying things. So you can take this report and say, Mark Cuban said they're not going to trade Anthony Davis. You can take it at face value. Or you can take it like this. The Mavs can't look like they're desperate to trade Anthony Davis. They can't. They can't look like, we've got to unload him. This is a dire situation. We just can't. We cannot. We've got to get rid of Anthony Davis. This is ridiculous. Because look at all the times teams have done that in the past. Look at James Harden holding his team hostage. Look at Jimmy Butler holding his team hostage. Look at all the different instances where this happened, and players get traded, and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, we just traded Jimmy Butler for what? It would be really great to have a Jimmy Butler type player. Oh my gosh, we just traded this guy for what? Apparently, Nico Harrison thought that the Mavs were desperate and needed to get off of Luka Doncic's deal, and they traded Luka for what? Like, these are all the times when teams have been desperate and traded a guy before they really even needed to, or just because the guy was unhappy. The Mavs are not in that situation. Anthony Davis, by all reports, has not asked for a trade. He seems like he wants to come back, and we'll see what happens. Maybe he's more unhappy with the Mavs start. He's obviously unhappy with the Mavs start. They're not good, but maybe he just wants to prove some stuff to Mavs fans still, or maybe he's just done with this whole situation. We don't know that yet. We haven't heard from his camp. We haven't heard reports. There's no back channels that are saying anything right now that I've heard or anybody that I've talked to. And so you're like, all right, well, so why Mark Cuban say that? Why should Mark Cuban say this? Well, here's one theory. And I've seen this a couple times on Twitter. It's not my original one. The Mavs could already have deals for Anthony Davis. Right? This could be a complete smokescreen by Mark Cuban to other teams to be like, hey, we're not trading Anthony Davis. Like, we can hold on to him. We're fine. We're cool. We're cool to just sit here. We're cool to just, kick back, relaxing all cool and all, shooting some b-ball every other day, all the games at home, because apparently that's what the schedule is doing, and we're fine to just kick back, chill, wait. We got our 2026 pick. We got Cooper Flagg. We got a future. We're fine. We'll just hang out. And if he can convince them that the Mavs are fine, they don't need to trade Anthony Davis right now, that puts them back in an advantageous position. Now, does this report do that? Was Mark Cuban masterminding this, thinking, I'll show them. We'll tell them we're not trading him at all? Maybe not. Maybe Mark Cuban just has bad info. Maybe he has bad intel. He's not making the final decisions right now. He's just an owner, and a minority owner at that. You don't get all the info if you're a minority owner. Now, Mark Cuban probably has back channels and has all kinds of people that he talks to and people in the organization and all that, I'm sure. He was sitting here tonight, right down there. But I think this is a smokescreen from Mark Cuban, and I think it's a pretty good one, that the Mavericks are like, hey, we won't trade him. Guys lie all the time. People lie in this business all the time. Cutthroat league, right? Business, money at stake, everything. They got to get Anthony Davis's trade value up. And coming up, I'll tell you why. That is a almost impossible task for the Dallas Mavericks to do, but they've got to. Tell you why coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Quo. Quo. It's a smarter way to run your business. Quo. Q-U-O. Every business owner knows that missed calls are just like a death sentence to you. You cannot miss calls. You cannot miss customers because, like me, when I'm going to call some business, like I had a plumber come to my house recently. I called one plumber. They didn't answer. And I moved on to another plumber. I didn't wait or call back or like take down the number or do anything like that or leave a voicemail even. Like, I just moved on. You cannot let that happen. Quo is the #1 business phone system built for 2025, not 1995. It's simple, modern, designed to help you communicate faster, look more professional, and stay connected with whoever you're working with. I love the Quo works right on an app or a phone or computer. No extra devices, no clunky landlines, things like that. You have a shared inbox, which means customers can get help faster because multiple people on your team can answer calls, not just coming to one person and you're like, oh, that person missed the call because they were out. Everybody can get calls from your team. Built-in AI is a game changer. It logs your calls, writes summaries, and even sets up follow-ups automatically. That can help you a lot. Over 90,000 businesses are already trusting Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. And yes, you can even keep your existing number. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Also brought to you by Rugiet. A lot of excuses. A lot of excuses happened when the Mavs traded Luka Doncic, and we weren't having any of them. And your partner probably isn't going to have any of them either if you got excuses. So don't make those excuses. Make this move. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making those moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect to the board-certified doctor, important, 100% online, also important. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. That's all the things that you don't want to have happen if you have ED. The process is fast, simple, and private. It's all handled by real doctors, and if you're prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. Gotta love that, too. Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. That's promo code LockedOnNBA. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
It's a One More Thing, a bonus episode of Locked On Mavs. Again, if you missed the post game with me and Slightly talking about the Knicks game, go listen to that one wherever you're listening or watching this. I'm talking about Anthony Davis, his trade value, and Mark Cuban says the Mavs aren't trading Anthony Davis. And I don't buy that for a minute. I think they are. I think they're looking for trades for Anthony Davis. I think it's a smart thing for this team to do. They got to move forward, move on. This 2-year window is not it. They're not going to win with this group. And for those that are still in the comment section, I can hear you. I can hear you and your essence in the comment section already. You can't move on from him. You got to give this team a chance. Give this team a chance for all they've been through. No. This is a professional basketball team. And the Kyrie Anthony Davis thing, is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? Are they ever going to be healthy at the same time? I probably at this point should have looked back and seen all the times in their careers they were healthy at the same time, because I bet it's not many. And that's one of the bets that Nico Harrison made, which is why this team is in the position that they're in right now. He bet on 2 stars that are constantly injury-riddled, that are amazing basketball players. Great. Like, if they were playing and they were healthy guys, then that would be awesome. It would be really cool to see a Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis healthy on the court together. When are we getting that? Because I don't think it's anytime soon. Anthony Davis comes back. All right. He's already had 3 injuries to different parts of his body while he's here. He was injured when they traded for him with the adductor strain. Okay. Then he re-injured it after the Houston game. He was, you could see he was already holding it. Then he had the retina issue that he had to have surgery on over the offseason, so he couldn't work out. So he came into camp out of shape and slow. And then he has now this calf strain. And, like, that's 3 different parts of your body. And this whole thing with Anthony Davis has just been a disaster from the start. And the Mavs don't have the time with this window. So they're moving on from it. So here's Bobby Marks had this article, too, talking about how to fix the Mavericks. And it's a couple of good ideas here and there. But he had 2 quotes in there from a Western Conference executive that he talked to that I thought were interesting. And one of them said, while you can point to Davis as a top 20 player in Los Angeles, it is a $175 million gamble, and perhaps more if you trade for him, a West executive said. I would want to see a long stretch of games of Davis healthy before there could ever be a discussion. And this is the problem the Mavericks have. I think you have to play Anthony Davis. Isaac has been on this side, and he's been like, just hold him out and trade him for whatever you can get. And I've been like, I think you got to play him a little bit to get somebody to trade you something that is even like palatable for you to get. Because I think if you try to trade him right now, I think you're probably getting bad contracts back. And I don't think you can do that. I think you got to move forward, and you got to move forward cleanly, get whatever assets you can, and get minimal contracts. If you can get the Kobe White, a first-round pick, and the expiring contracts from the Bulls, that'd be great. But I don't know if you're getting that right now, which is wild to think about from Anthony Davis. I think you're not getting out scot-free. I think you're getting a bad contract back, and I'm curious to see what actually will happen. And so that's the part of the Shams report that really piqued my interest. Not they're already exploring deals for Anthony Davis. We already knew that. The part of Shams' report that he says afterwards is he said health will be the biggest key, talking about this deal. Not only for the Mavericks to evaluate over a lengthy period of time on the court, but for other teams that could have an interest in him when he's back. To me, that says that they think that Anthony Davis is coming back. That when he's done with this like 7 to 10 day thing after the reevaluation, that he's going to come back and play because they want to up his value a little bit, which is a crazy thing to do as well. Because Isaac's point over here, that he's like, you just trade him now, because if he comes back on the court and he tears his Achilles or something even worse, like something worse than just a calf strain happens to him, then you can't trade him at all. And that'd be awful for the Mavericks to be in that position, because then that means you're probably going to be in the second apron next season, or you got to sell off pieces you don't want to sell off right now, right? A Gafford, a Klay Thompson, a Caleb Martin, and you're attaching assets to maybe some of those guys. Like, probably not Gafford, maybe not Klay, but Caleb Martin for sure. Probably Cody Martin too. Jaden Hardy. Like, you're trying to sell off any pieces you can to get under that second apron, that second tax level, and that is just a position that you just don't want to be in. To be desperate, right? You don't want to be desperate. You don't want to be desperate in the Anthony Davis trade. You don't want to be desperate in dealing with your cap right now. The other quote from the Western Conference executive from the Bobby Marks piece says, the extension and paying a player in their mid-30s, an average of $69 million, nice, and the last 9 months in Dallas is what scares me. In this current CBA, you cannot afford to have a player earning 35% of the salary cap on the sidelines more than on the court. And this is another reason why I think they got to play Anthony Davis, because they got to prove that he can play, which is like, how long does he have to play? Does he have to play for a full month? 2 months? Can he last 2 months? These are the, almost said dank. That's not the word I want. These are the dark questions. These are the dank questions. These are the dark questions the Mavericks are asking themselves right now in this front office. And this front office that is run by two co-GMs right now. And so, and an owner that just got bamboozled by Nico Harrison. Questions, answers. We'll see what happens with this going forward. That's Anthony Davis. That's a talk on that. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me on a bonus episode of Locked On Mavs. We'll be back here in this arena many times because the Mavs continue to play here. So subscribe to the show. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. Here's the thing. I got a call from our Locked On Big 12 host, Drake Toll. He's awesome. Incredible broadcaster. Works with Savannah Bananas. Is amazing. They just passed us in subscribers. The Big 12. The Big 12. That's not even one of the good conferences. I can't believe the Big 12 passed us in YouTube subscribers. I'm furious. So follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Let us pass Drake Toll again because good Lord. Drake Toll. Big 12. Peace out. Boom.